Anyway, let's go get my notification. She'll be on here in a second. Some of these tips. I feel like to get.
Are you gonna get some more of the curve tips?
C-curve tips. Yeah. Because you can't call them hi. You can't call them what is it called? Curve tips. You have to call them C-curve nail tips because when you call them curve tips, people put on like Empress curve nails on them. Okay. Hi.
Who's that?
I'm just getting out my supplies. So I'm going to be showing you how I use these, how I use my C-curve nail tips. These are the Visitas. These will be linked down below in the description. I might make this like a video later. So yeah, don't forget to like the stream if you're enjoying it. Sorry, I always hit it. Don't forget to like the stream if you're enjoying it so far. And yeah, I'm just going to show you how I prep these tips because the prep of these tips are very important. And it's not just like, hi Layla, it's not just like regular nail tips. It's harder to, in my opinion, it's harder to shape on these tips, work on these tips for whatever reason. And these are a bit too wide here. I'll show you. I'm just going to get out like an acrylic color so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to prep one incorrectly and then I'm going to prep one correctly. So this is going to be my incorrect one, even though I've already cut the C-curve down on it. It's just, it'll look better, but we'll see. And what color is this? We'll use Core Natural. But if I were to use like a red or a blue, you'd be able to see like that line of demarcation I'm gonna show you about later. But I'm going to be using my Hurry Up nail glue spray, which dries nail glue instantly. And I'm gonna be using my stork scissors. I have my long pair and my short pair here. You're gonna need that, or you can use straight edge nail clippers. Don't use the curved ones because it'll ruin your shape. And I'm gonna use my Model 1's number 10 brush. And I'm gonna be using my Pana 8080 grit file. I talked about this in my last video. Well, not my last video. My video that's going up on Sunday, which is me doing my sister's nails. Of pretty much these files, they changed them since they, sorry about the noise. They changed them since I first bought them. The first ones I bought were amazing, very sturdy, very structured. I guess people didn't like the way they looked when they doled out, but that's kind of how you could tell they were used too. Thank you for the like, by the way. And I'm going to be using my Macart brush on glue because that's what helps me glue these tips on. And I still do use KDS glue, by the way. Can you see, or is my light too bright? Is that better? Oh no, that is not better. I'm going to open the stream on my phone. So sorry about that. So what I like to do first, before I spray the hurry up spray, is, sorry if it's gonna look a little weird for a second. I have to attempt to file these nails on camera, and then like you see the tripod's in the way, but it looks weird if I don't do it this way. So like I said, I am gonna be using the Macart nail glue. It's a brush on nail glue, and oh my god, it's amazing. It dries really fast, not faster than KDS, but it doesn't claim to, you know. Um, KDS nail glue is my favorite nail glue, and it is very affordable. You can get a 30 pack of KDS nail glue for $11. So, and like you see how like high this part goes, so it has to be a really good fit, because like when you try and do that, it doesn't fit, right? So, and this was a 1, and that curve is just way too much for these fingers. So if your client has flatter nail beds, you're going to have a hard time trying to find a size for them, just because, you know. So yeah, these nails are very hard to do for like these little practice hands, but if you, oops, I'm gonna go with a bigger one. So if you make this little white mark right here, just fold it back like that, and then you see, boom, clear again. This is a number 2, and I'm gonna go to a 0 because that's the only size that's gonna fit on these. On this one, even though this finger isn't even that big, and I'm going to flatten it so it'll fit, because you want to put glue all the way on the inside and then try and force it down on these practice fingers. But like on a real person, you don't want to force the tip down at all, because that will cause lifting. Because if you're putting something too small on something that's like, it's just not going to work, right? It's going to pop right back up. It's going to cause your entire nail to lift, because you can think that the acrylic is going to adhere to the nail, but if that tip isn't the right size or your form isn't placed on properly, your nail's going to lift. And one thing I have noticed about this Macart glue also, oops, I did that too early. Spray with the hurry up spray where it's not going to stick to these nails. So I went ahead and sprayed it underneath. And the hurry up glue spray is strong. And you see, you want to work it quite quickly. Make sure you don't get any glue on your skin. And then just hold it down. I will be clipping off these sides. So it looks very crazy right now. Like, look at that. But yeah, that didn't stick. Because I waited too long because I forgot to spray the glue. So it just dried on the tip. Don't put the tip on, like, I mean the brush tip on the nail after you spray the hurry up glue spray, because after you have already sprayed the nail, it's going to keep reacting and it'll harden up your brush, and you might have to soak it in acetone or just get a completely new one. I do have a haul video on the way. It will be for Wednesday's video, and I probably will be uploading this just to show, even though the quality might not be my usual camera quality, but from here it doesn't look too bad. So, and I do have my sister checking my stream, so that should be fine as well. You can see how this one is cut. Like, this is a number 4, and let me get a 4 out so you guys can see the difference in these sizes. Sorry if you guys can hear any noises, by the way. My window is open just so I can, not suffocate in the fumes, because every time you do nails, you want to have your window open or something open. And you can tell, I don't know if you guys can see, by the C curve how this just extends further, which gives it a wider nail, even though it's already pretty slim. And just by only cutting these sides off, just cutting it straight, not into a coffin or anything, it makes the nail look much better. It fits more people. You don't have to cut it like all the way down, and it's a very pretty square. And if you want to cut it even more, you can get taper square, and if you want to cut it even more, you can get a coffin. So it's all personal preference, but it's your set of nails. You make it look the way you want it to look. So, like I said, I'm going to be cutting this entire sidewall off. Is somebody mowing their lawn right now when it's about to rain? Tragic. So I'm not going to cut off much. It looks like it's a lot, but I promise you, it is not. And if you don't want to cut this little piece off right here because you're afraid you're going to cut someone, you can just file it off, which I'm still going to file these nails, period. Because you just can't, because like look, even though it's like kind of straight, it's still kind of like jagged. So in order to fix that, I'm going to file underneath the nail. And you don't want to cut too much. Like, I'm going to leave that there, right? And you see how this side is just straighter than this side, but the C curve is even. And you want to make sure you keep your C curve even. If you cut too much, then it's just gonna you have to cut the other side more, and then it'll change the shape. But leave this little part on here if you're not comfortable going all the way up, because some people, you might cut them or you might feel scared to. So all you're going to do for this side, because this side I did cut jagged, I'm going to file the underneath, and I'm not going to stop filing this side until it's straight, right? Until it's one straight line. And the C curve is going to be even after I'm done with this, and it just sharpens this up even more. And you see I left this back here so I can file that part too. And then now it's kind of even. And so for this side, because we left it on, you just want to file it off, because the line is straighter because I didn't go all the way. And the reason why I'm not bringing it all the way up here either is because the higher I go, the blurrier it gets. So sorry if you can't see with my hands blocking. And I'm going to move my brush and my scissors, mainly the brush, because you don't want to get dust in your brush, or it could ruin your nails and encapsulate stuff in there and make it hard to pick up monomer. And you want to like file under, you see how that just flaked off? File underneath where that little piece was, and it'll file off everything. And usually if you're like, you don't like the way that the dust feels like on your face area, you're supposed to wear a mask in general when you do nails. But I know like sometimes you don't wear a mask while you're doing nails, but I highly recommend to wear one. Sometimes it might, if you're doing it on yourself, it might slip your mind, or you might just not want to, but it's better than inhaling the dust, right? Because it doesn't feel good when you inhale the dust. It feels very like you're very stopped up and congested if you've never inhaled it before. And I'm just gonna make this straight, and then boom, C curves even. And if, oops, see, I broke it. Just gonna blow that off real quick. And I'm gonna spray this with the hurry up. I'm gonna get used to the smell now. To me, now it's starting to smell like rainwater, which sounds weird, but And I'm not going to use the brush on glue like I said, because whatever you touch it to, it will dry instantly. Look, like I touched that to there and it dried. So know when to use your tube glue and your brush on glue, especially if you're using the hurry up glue spray, because it will dry instantaneously, and it's not. You'll waste your entire bottle of glue pretty much. No more squeaky desk. I got a new one, and now this nail, she's on there. She's not going nowhere. So I'm going to tidy this up by going underneath. And when you file underneath, you lessen the C curve too. So I'm just getting all these little flakes off of plastic before I start. And make sure you clean up your area, because there wasn't too much filing. Like, there's not a lot of dust. For this one, I'm going to take out my e-file, and I'm going to use my fine sanding band, and I'm going to file on top of it. And these tips are thick. So when I watched a video of the lady who bought these before I did, sorry for adjusting the camera so much. She didn't really say that it was gonna be like this, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't say it was gonna be this thick. Like, she said they were thick, but I didn't think they was this thick. And like, I've been seeing everybody trying them, but like, they're thick. And so this is the speed I would usually use my drill at, which is it's 3,000 rotations per minute. I'm just gonna bump it up, and I'm using a fine grit sanding band. And like I said, all this glue is dry, so there is no waiting time. And this is the natural nail. I'm not gonna touch it. And plus, on a person, you wouldn't have to use this much hurry up glue spray. But when using these tips, because they're so thick, like right here is so high, the well part, I highly, highly, highly recommend using your e-file and using hurry up spray, because when you use hurry up spray, it will glue these nails down literally instantly. But if there's not enough connection, like you saw, it wasn't enough because I just put the glue on the tip, but obviously I couldn't put it on the nail bed because of the hurry up spray, because it would, like I said, dry that brush instantly, and then the glue is ruined pretty much. Because if I put the glue brush back in the bottle, it would ruin the entire bottle. And so I'm just gonna blend this as much as I can without touching the nail bed area. And this does take a little while. And this requires like a lot of blending. Like, you can tell the difference between here and here. This is a lot more flat, so it's gonna allow you for a better transition. I just wish I could get this part a little bit flatter, but this tip is so thick that we'll be filing for forever. So One thing I also like about this McCart glue is the Young Nail brush on glue. If it falls over, even if it's closed, the glue will, like mine just started like spewing out and I didn't notice until I picked it up and tried to open it and it was shut. And that was $14 gone. I'm gonna get my lint-free wipe and some alcohol right now, and I'm going to dry. I'm not dry. I'm going to get all the dust off these nails. Oops. I like to dab it off because it's too much sometimes. You see, you need very little. And this, if it was like a natural nail too, it would help to dehydrate the nail. And you can see where I filed on the nail, it's foggy. So if I was doing a glass nail, it would pretty much be ruined because of that. And you can see where I didn't file on this one. It's a very glassy nail. So it just would look so much better. But that's why you want to keep it mainly like right here. So only this area would be not glassy, but that usually gets covered up anyways. After this step, after it's blended, you would go in with your primer. The combination I use is a acid primer and a non-acid primer. I use the Young Nails Protein Bond and the Born Pretty Nail Primer. And that has been my secret, I don't want to say concoction, but secret weapon that has been keeping my sister's nails on. Because if you have somebody that is in like a lot of water or they are like around a lot of chemicals, their nails tend to lift when you just use Protein Bond for whatever reason. Like just ever since I started doing that, my sister's nails haven't been lifting. So now it is pretty much time for the application. Should I pick another color? I might, but I'm gonna do my base first. So you're gonna see a major difference in this base. I'm gonna be using I already opened it, but Core Natural by Young Nails. This is the only thing I use this Core Natural for because this shade, I don't want to say it's a useless shade, but she doesn't do anything for me. She just looks milky but kind of yellowy. Like you'll see, I'll do a swatch up here so you can constantly see it. And I'm almost out of monomer. I did order some more. It's coming on Sunday. I wanted to do my live on Sunday when it gets here, but that would take too long. So sorry if you can hear my door moving. Like I said, the window is open. So I don't know if I said it already, but I do have a haul coming up soon. And you guys, this is one of my best hauls since the beginning. Like I've done some glorious hauls. I've had some of the like some really good hauls, but this one she just hits different for whatever reason. And I'm very excited about this. So this is the brush. You see like at the end, it's very pretty still. Like if I do like this, you'll see how pretty it really is. But when acetone gets into contact with like any brush, and it's usually at the handle part where you hold, um, I only do this when I have like gloves on, like get acetone all the way up here because like it continues to like rub and it just made the plastic foggy because it melted the top layer. So it made this part matte and then this part glossy and like transparent. So I actually like both sides of this brush now that it's ruined. But don't soak your brushes in acetone because it removes the natural moisture and your brushes will continue to like pick up um will continue to pick up acrylic after that, and they'll just get stuck in it, and that's when your brush dies. And thank you. It came out. Yeah, that's from your nails. And when your brush dies, it's very sad, but you also make sure you have more than one brush on you. As you'll hear from my little story time in the video, I didn't have more than one brush on me. I didn't have more than one brush on me. I actually had 3 to 4, and they were all gunked up with acrylic somehow. And like your brush should be like this. I have like one straight hair, which this one straight hair could cause a ton of problems. So again, I'm using Core Natural by Young Nails. Let me do my swatch, like I said. You can't see that. Okay, I'll bring it closer so you can see it better. And always have more than one paper towel and continue to clean off your area. Like this is what it looks like when it's wet. So it looks like an off, like it looks like a foggy clear, right? But when it dries, it turns like this. So yeah, like I don't even think that it's technically like a natural nail color, which is what it's supposed to be, but it's not bad, and I only use it for practicing purposes anyways, so it's not a big deal for me. And if you have colors that are just for practicing purposes only, it's okay. So I'm going to start off with the non-blended side, right? This is just my clear base layer. I do this for every single set that I do. I'm going to wait for it to polymerize a little bit, get some of this excess powder off by tapping it. And this is Young Nails monomer with the Young Nails product. So it is the their acrylic system. And Young Nails has flash sales always. So you want to make sure you follow their Instagram and so you know when they're going to have a flash sale. Because Young Nails products, they're kind of expensive, kind of not, but like they're big ones. Like a big thing of this is expensive. Like I know one of their big things of clear is like I think it's like $200, but you know, and I actually really love the Young Nail system. It's my favorite acrylic system, alongside the JC Beauty Concept system. The Model 1 system is not too bad if you were wondering, but I just don't use their monomer anymore. I used it like one time, or no, like 2 times. Well, 2 bottles, I should say. One mini one and then one not so mini one. Look how these beads are going on. What? Get into it. But Yeah, it's just a clear base layer. It wasn't supposed to be this thick, but oops. I pretty much just built the nail up with this, so it looked regular. But usually you would see like this big old dip, but I filled it in with the product on accident, so just out of habit. But it's okay. And you want to make your brush. You want to wipe your brush off very frequently, and you want to be gentle. You don't want to force any product into your brush. You want to kind of glide. You want to have a very, very soft, delicate touch. And that's how I do my clear base layer on these practice fingers. And yeah, like when you do your clear base layer, like in general, you want to go from cuticle area, make the cuticle area very like light, and then fill this in, right? But you want to do it a very thin layer because the thicker it is, the more you're going to have to like file because you're going to think that, oh, this is wrong when it's not really wrong. You can see it polymerize. So some people like they sit and hold and then they release when they know the product is ready. And some people they just like hold it here on the brush like this, and then when it's time, turn it. And because the snail is wider, and this one, it's like a smoother transition to, like if you were to like just like look at this nail, like this one, it isn't built up as high because I didn't have as much of a gap to fill. And with these now, these tips, you definitely have to fill in the gap because it is insane how thick these are. And I also do this clear base on these nails, like on these practice fingers, because I just file the old design off. Or if I want to like change length or tip size or whatever, I'll just break it in half all the way down here and then only file on the natural nail and leave a bit of acrylic on there because it'll help these nails adhere to like the adhere to the fake nail because the plastic is it doesn't really work out right. Um, I'm thinking of an ombre because I really like the way these ombres look, and I also need to practice my ombres. I'll do this mint color and this kiss color, which is actually a dip powder. Sorry, when you see me like do like this, it's because I'm muting and unmuting it in case any loud noises are happening. So core natural, these are the little swatches. You can see it did yellow a tad bit, but on the nail it doesn't yellow. But only on like my paper towel and my like white background, like on this, on the lid, it yellowed. And that's also a good way to see the swatches of your color. You could put it on here so you could like lay it flat. Like this lays pretty flat, but sometimes it doesn't. Um, and yes, the Young Nail system, if you were wondering, is very low odor. So you don't have to wait for this to dry at all. So this is a combination I've been seeing all around. So I'm just going to This is dip powder. I think I said that already. But dip powder is acrylic, and I'm going to be using number 8 by Model Ones. And this Kiss dip color, like I couldn't find it. I threw away the packaging. It doesn't have the name on it, but I know you get it from it's not even Lucky Nail Supply, it's from a beauty supply store. So I'm just gonna do these swatches real quick so you can see like just how pretty these colors are. And this works with monomer really, really well. It works with the JCBD Concepts monomer extremely well, and it works with the Young Nails monomer really well. And if you would like to try the Model Ones monomer, that works really well also. Look, you see how it like yellowed the Core Natural? It just yellowed. And look at this. This is 08 by Model Ones, and then this is the dip color by Kiss. And I know this color works very well with monomer, and it sets up really well. So you have no worries about that. Sorry about the little beeping noise. That's my computer. But so I'm gonna start this ombre. Should I do a cut? I'll do a cut. You know. But so look at the difference in product. You see how here you don't really need to fill in as much because it's blended in. But where I didn't blend it, I needed to use a ton more product just to get it like an even smooth surface. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna try not to knock this over. Okay, wipe my brush off really good. Fold my paper towel over and pull. I just realized you could see me dipping in my things. So I'll get this better. And I don't like to have my monomer and powder next to each other like this. This is the way I like typically do it, but I've been learning, or I like putting it all the way back here on the paper towel because the residue and the stickiness just makes it stick. So, and it makes it harder to get your product off. Like it just sticks to your paper towel, and when you're trying to rip it up, you spill some of your powder. So in order to avoid that, you can either put it on like your table or like the other side of your paper towel. But I use 2 separate paper towels because this one still might have a little bit of dust on it. And you, like I said, you don't want to carry that into your product. But so for my ombre, I'm gonna do it on this finger. I'm gonna actually start up here. I actually think this brush is not long. Hold on, I'm about to switch brushes really quickly. I'm switching to my Young Nails Artistic Sculptor brush. I'm gonna add some monomer, pat it out. Which you see, like I left it here for a while and it works fine. And I'm gonna be gentle. And blend this down evenly. And even though this is kind of like a pastel shade, it doesn't, what is that? It doesn't marble. That's what I really like about this shade. You can see it looks a bit more like lime green when you first put it down, but once you blend it out and being very gently, it just turns into like a pretty mint color. And then after this, I'm going to wipe my brush off. And because this is my smaller brush, I'm going to have to do this like piece by piece. And I'm not going to end it like exactly where the tip meets because the tip takes up so much of the actual like nail. So that would be like a weird little transition. And you always want to blend it this way so you're not left with a harsh line to fix. So this is pretty much where I'm going to end it. but I'm going to fill in this gap right here with green before I go in with my pink. And I actually allow my ombres to set up and dry just because of sorry if it looks foggy. If it looks like extremely foggy, you might need to click the three dots in the side and change your resolution, like your quality. So for this, I'm going to put it here and I'm going to leave it. And then I'm going to go to another area where it's more see-through, because if I just drag it right now, it's going to be very, very, very transparent. And remember, keep this thin. Like, look how thin this is. Like, extremely thin. I'm actually going to take out my X-Acto knife. So, I'm going to sit that there. It doesn't even sit there for too long. Or you're going to be left with, like, dried lumps of product. But once I do like this, wet my brush, tap off excess, and start to blend, look how much more opaque that is. And it looks so much more seamless. Always protect your sides also by just grazing your brush like this. And then just wipe it off. Do it to this side too. And then just wipe it. And because I did leave it to set for a little too long, I did get a little bit adventurous. I'm gonna put a bead right here to blend it. And I ended up doing the entire tip anyways. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure this line isn't harsh either by just blending it back. And I'm gonna put some at the tip. And this really only needs to sit here for a couple of seconds. And then blend it forwards and backwards. I don't know why, but this tip, like these tips are very like, I don't even want to say see-through because then that sounds dumb, but like the actual tip of the nail, like the tip is very weird. Like it doesn't want to adhere. Like no product wants to like sit there. I'm gonna put more monomer on my brush. Tap off excess. So I'm not introducing too much monomer, making it spread too far. I'm gonna bring it forward this way. And I'm gonna wipe this side. I might have a hard time blending it, but I know this, if like your color is very sheer, transparent, not opaque enough, then this right here would be an issue, but I know this color. So that's why I left like a little bit, you know, on the harsher side, but always know your products and test the transparency and all that stuff. So for this, I'm gonna do, like, look how good that beat it up, and look at it polymerizing. Gorgeous. So I'm gonna start here. Uh-oh, I let it sit for too long. Uh-oh, uh-oh. That was my fault. I let it sit for way too long. This one, because like I said, it is a dip powder, right? It is a different consistency, but I let that sit for way too long. So I'm just gonna file off the excess back here so I don't introduce any dust, and those pieces just flaked right off. So I'm gonna wipe this off my finger to make sure there's no dust on it. Okay. I'm going to try that again with more monomer this time because I picked up a bead too big. There we go. This is how I know this color. Very beautiful. And then it sets up just fine as you saw. And I'm going to build this up very slowly. And when you're working with this color, like with dip powders that you use as acrylic, depending on like if it says acrylic or not, but as you like it says you can use it as like with monomer and all that, you have to be careful because if you use it too dry, like I just did, it sets up like almost instantly. So you want to be careful with that. Ugh, why am I building it from the back? I like to build it from the front because every time I build it from the back, it never ends well for me. V-cut nails are very easy, very simple, very fast. Where did this hair come from? And because, like I said, this is a dip powder, and it sets up kind of quickly, like the powder itself does, not the monomer. The monomer doesn't set up fast at all. I would say this monomer is on like the medium to slow side, actually. And I'm using like a million beads, but it's because I'm trying to fill this in all the way. And you want to wait for this product to set up before you use your tool to cut it. Some people say that this is a waste of product doing it this way, but hey, this way looks the cleanest for me. So, oops, I almost missed. So I'm going to fill in the tip a little more, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a V cut yet or a side cut, but I am going to cut it. So now that this is dry, right, all I really need is for this part back here to be dry. I'll move it right here. Move this over just a little bit so I can grab it better. Put this here. Dip into this color. And to start my blend, I'm just going to go ahead and pat this. And I'm not going to get like my bristles into it, nothing crazy. Because if you start to like rub your bristles into it, it'll get the product stuck in there a little bit more. Then I'm going to pull it forward. And make sure you get this side too. Because when you do your cuticle bead, sorry, I gotta flip this over again. Flip it like this. When you do your cuticle bead, because you can also change your blend, because nothing is final. And because of the way this powder sets up, I could do it like this. I'm going with my X-Acto knife now. Before that sets up all the way, make sure my blade is good. Dip it into the powder. And just cut it. And your layers underneath might be drier, but it's okay because you are going to file this anyway, so some of these flakies will come off. And just make sure this line is super, super sharp. And we will be coming back in and filing anyways. And you see where I pressed it right here. So I'll have to fill that back in. But once this nail turns matte, it's pretty much ready to go. So I saw it was matte, so I went ahead and did that. And you also want to be careful so you don't file a hole. But doing that, or cut a hole in the nail, but doing that clear base layer helps a lot. Because it adds to the thickness of the tip. So now that that's done, I'm going to go back to this ombre. And you see how here and here it's patchy. So I'm going to go back here, put this here, fade it back so this blends. And this color is actually very pigmented, very lovely. And you have to know where your product is going to travel to. See, look, you see how this just filled it in very evenly and seamlessly just by doing that one section. So now I'm going to do it to this side. So if you can't get your ombre the way you like it in one go, that's okay, because that's what practicing is for, right? And that didn't beat up properly. It's okay. And I like how that blend is looking. I'm running out of monomer. So at least I got this. But now for this now. So I'm going to move this away while it's setting up, and then I'm going to encapsulate it. So for this now, I'm going to actually right here. So when you don't have enough monomer in your dish, it starts affecting your beads, as you can see. But this will get filed out, so don't even worry about that. Now I'm going to file with my 80/80 grit file, and I'm not going to touch that where I just put the wet stuff down, the wet product. I'm going to file this line straight. If you wanted to, you could wait till that part was like 100% dry, but I don't really feel the need to right now. And boom. Here it is, the sharp line. I could have continued this a little bit more though. And I'm going to file this off the tip. Okay. Sorry, I do have to move this back, but it keeps scrunching up. That looks good. So I'm going to get my alcohol wipe. By alcohol and a lint-free wipe, I mean when I say alcohol wipe. Tap off excess, sorry. And just wipe all this dust off. Or it will literally stick into the nail. And then I'm going to go in with this mint. Fill it in. Oops, ooh, and I touched where the dust was. Oops, that was way too wet. I had way too much monomer in my brush still. So I'm gonna use my last bit of monomer. which is actually a lot, and there's still some in there. Get into it then. But and I did spill half of this too. Like I spilled like the dapping dish till about here of my other one, which was not good at all, but it's okay. Like you see, I have a bit of product right there, so I'm just gonna get it off right now, or it's gonna start affecting the way my beads are gonna go down. And that's what happens when you try and tough it out and use as little monomer as possible. Your brush doesn't get as much liquid as it needs. Okay, I think I got it. So I'm gonna flush this brush real quick, wipe it out, and then I'm gonna go in with this green one more time. Well, I say again. So when you fill in this part of the reason why you need to sharpen it up is you see I went over the line. When you file that, it'll be straight. It'll look good. Oops. I must be pressing too hard. The harder you press, the more your bristles start to like spray out. So when they do that, you're gonna get some acrylic stuck in the bristles too, from what I've noticed. And this is the way it looks like this. This situation is my fault. That will be sorted out. But dry. Okay. So I'm gonna wait for this to dry and I'm going to go ahead and encapsulate with my Model 1 to Clear big old jar of it. And this will probably be a video, but it'll probably be edited and it probably still will be in. No, I'll probably just upload it like this, I guess. Because it's easier to see how I did this in like real time, I guess, than me speeding it up. It's only 2 nails. Okay. Tap the back of the brush just one time, and then that will give you a consistency that is a lot. Look at that. Look how much better that consistency is. And I feel like it also has to do with the fact that I'm using the Young Nails monomer. And you want to be careful so you don't get bubbles. But this is kind of like a bubble-free formula like the monomer is to begin with. So even if I pick up a big bead, this powder is usually very, very, very runny. Like you can attempt, I should say, to get the driest bead you can, and it'll still run all over the place. So with these nails, it's kind of hard to balance it 100% properly. Just because like of the way that the tip is, I feel. And this doesn't need too much encapsulation. I'm just building up the nail the way it's supposed to be built up. And this is what the nail looks like from the side. You see there's a divot right in the middle. So that will be dealt with right now. I'm going to get a new paper towel because that one is full of monomer. So always make sure you switch out your paper towels when you need to, because if it's full of monomer, sorry, that's my stand. If it's full of monomer, then it's not going to wipe off as well. And you're going to be trying to wipe your brush off on something that's very sticky. So I'm going to fill in this large hump really quickly. I let my powder sit in there for a while. Not my powder, my brush sit in there. All right, I'm going to let that sit right there. And I'm going to blend it forwards and backwards. Look at that. The cuticle area will be filed down, I promise, because that is way too thick. I mean, way too high. This is the apex right here. This is the cuticle area. This should not be that high. Apex could use a little more, but she has a practice finger. She doesn't move, so it's not gonna break off. And then I'm gonna fill in this gap right here, and then that's it for this nail. Ugh, I hate it when this happens, when it's just one little gap. Like, like right there. That's just where that last gap is. All right, there we go. This will be filed down because now it's too high. So I will file these into perfection. The shape isn't bad. As you can tell, it didn't leave the walls too far. And that's for my constant wiping, but there is a little acrylic underneath, which will be nipped off. And now for this now, I'm going to move my powder, move my monomer, and I'm going to get my hand file. I usually do my e-file, but you know, and I'm going to just blend this line into perfection. But you know, I usually don't make these extremely straight unless I'm not going to put bling on it. But if I have a feeling I'm going to cover it with bling, I don't even worry about it. I'm going to cover these up so they don't get dust in them. And then I'm going to put that on top. So look how straight this line is already. And you want to make sure, in order to get a straight line too, that you build this up high enough, this pink, and it has like a wall for it to rest on. So when you file it down, it reveals a nice clean image. And you see I did get more like spillage on the outside, but you don't really need to worry about this part. And I didn't really build this nail up all the way, so I will have to cap it, especially this green, because it's starting to get patchy as I continue to file. But I'm going to make sure all the areas are off first. Look how straight this line is. This, I'm just going to file this a little more. But once it gets encapsulated, it should be kind of okay. I'm going to wipe it off with some alcohol. so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like, look at the line, how straight it is. I'll go ahead and put some bling on this too, just because, you know. And yeah, I'm going to encapsulate this part only because this needs to get filed, this back part. Maybe, yeah. But not overly filed, just filed. Okay. So my brush was safe. So when I do this, it doesn't have any dust in it. And that's part of the reason why you need to wipe it off too. Because if you have too much dust in it, I mean, you have dust in it, period, it's going to look not good. And your brush is not going to work right. And you're going to contaminate your powder, maybe. If there's dust in the powder, if there's dust in your monomer, it's contaminated. If there's dust in your brush isn't going to blend well. It's just not going to do brush like things anymore. It's not going to brush properly. You're going to be making little like divots and ridges in the nail because of the dust. So actually this cuticle area is fine. This one is fine. So I'm just going to do like that. Dot off the excess. So, and I'm just going to blend it just a tiny bit just to cover this part. Just so I'm not doing like a ton of filing. But if you do notice that, no, I'm going to encapsulate the whole thing, I suppose, that your Model 1's, what is that called? Your Model 1's clear is like extremely runny and on the wet side, dab your brush off just once, just one time. And it just makes the world's difference. And it's not even like you have to leave it on there for long. And it'll help you structurally build up your nail better. I typically like to work pretty wet, but this is doing very, very well for me. And you see how it filled in those ridges that I had made earlier? So now it is the cleanup time because you want to make sure you stay nice and tidy. So I'm just going to put everything away just the way I found it, you know. Dump my monomer out because I don't like to reuse monomer. I'm going to put, because like I said, I'm going to use my bling. So it's always like forward thinking too. And but we still have the filing process to go through. I mean, so I'm gonna put this up off to the side because I do dust off my nails like that. Move this here. Get rid of this soiled paper towel. Put that in the trash. Get any flakes off. And like you see how nothing's stuck besides the powder. So all that takes is just one wipe. And then boom, clean. You don't want any acrylic to stick to your blade. So if it does, just file it very, very carefully. And you saw I had acrylic on my thumb, so I just filed it off real quick. So again, the colors I used was this one from Kiss. It looks like it's like um a dusty rose color, a dusty color, and then it is this number 8 Model Ones powder, which is a mid color, which I got in a set of 12 that will be linked. And I'm going to show you guys the finished dry. This is the brush I just used. You can use anything you find and tap. And you can hear how cuticle area is dry. This is not. This is fully dry. 100%. And so, time for the filing. The cleaner your application is, the less filing you have to do. And like I don't have like too many ridges, but I could tell that I did build this section up too high. So that's what I am going to remove, but with the drill. So I'm just gonna file under the nail right now. And underneath, file the sides. And then it's easier to do long nails when you will file the surface of long nails when you do it like this. And then you can see right here, it points out any inconsistencies with the nail. Like the nails feel smooth, but you can tell that your file isn't sitting 100% flat because look at the colors. It's different. Some certain parts are getting hit, which means those are higher than others. And so I'm not going to taper my file, and you see it's 100% straight. If you can't hold it straight like this, vertically, all across like that. But with these, it's kind of hard. So I'm going to do the same. Put your finger right here, and then push. And also with nails like this, you want to support it, and that helps to support it. Like you put your finger underneath and support it that way too. And then I do the tip after because of when you e-file, you could round out your tip on accident. So and then underneath, because look at all that underneath, that build up. And you see with this one, there like the entire nail pretty much was filed the same way. Like if I remove this dust, you can see they all have scratches on it except for this part right here because it's lower. So this nail, remember like I said, cuticle area down. You know, that's what I'm gonna get out my pan of 5-in-1 drill bit. Lock it, untangle it. Oops. I do this all the time. Why? Why must it be tangled? Ugh. So you can hear how fast my drill is going. My drill doesn't have like numbers, like a little arrow or nothing, so I can't really tell. But as you can tell, it's not going that fast, and all I'm doing is smoothing out this cuticle area a little bit, lowering it because it is way too high. And that's due to the clear base underneath partially. So I'm not going to go too much to where it's filed. See, I'm just going to leave it right there because it was filed. Like the clear base was way too much. And like you see, there's already a separation from here to here. And then I'm going to file underneath. And I didn't have to do much hand filing on this, like shape-wise. So that's really, really good. The most I ever have to do filing-wise is the body, like the top of the nail and like this area. But like it's never usually much because it's always pretty smooth. Even when I first started out, it's pretty smooth. So you could see, like, you can't even tell where it was unevenly done because the clear went in and filled all those gaps. And you want a consistency to where you can fill in those gaps. And also, you don't want to overfile this. Just, you see, I lowered that area, and I'm done. Very easy, simple. The nail looks very good. With this, I'm going to go around the cuticle area. And I'm using my pinky for stabilization or stability. Lower this cuticle area a bit too. And then the rest is like hand movements. So just up and down. And you don't want to do it from like here to here. Because that's too much, right? So you want to do it from like here to here. And like when I get to here, I move my finger up even more. And so when I'm at the tip, my finger is all the way up here. So for here, I started back here. And then next step is to move up a little bit and go this way. And then now it just, your pinky should move up with you as you file. And you could see how much better this looks. Oops. Only move your drill in one direction. So if you're going up and down, but if you're going to go sideways, one way. Because it might look like you're going back and forth, but you're really not. But if you're going up and down, it's harder to cut someone like this unless you're being very reckless and you're going from like bow, 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 like really fast. And look how much smoother this nail just looks after that. Like it felt smooth to begin with, but now it's just even more smooth and you can't tell any deep striations or marks. It just made it even. Like everything just matches up now. Because you want to make sure no section is higher than the other, or your nail is going to look very off. Yeah, I think I will leave this live up. And then I'm almost done. Because, like, also turn your nail this way. And you want to make sure with, like, ombres or your designs, like your encapsulated designs, that you don't file what you did. So, like, if you had some butterflies in here, you don't file those away. And I'm only going to file this right here very delicately. And then boom, just like that. And that removed, when you file it like up and down like that, you remove bulk product. But when you file like side to side and like it you remove bulk product and you even it out. And some people say when you file it side to side you even it out, but up and down is the way to go for me. So this, it doesn't really need it. You could just go in with the buffer after, but I like to take this extra step just in case any striations or any rogue scratches happened, and also tidy up the bottom. You have to make sure the bottom of your nails looks good as well as the top. And I'm gonna go like this, and look, that came out. And then I'm gonna file it. You can also file the tip straight with this, but I'm gonna go back in with my hand file so I don't take off too much. I'm gonna do like that so I can get those off. And then I'm going to do like this. Same thing to this one, and it's very light, very quick, using zero pressure. It doesn't cause any stress on my wrist, my hand. I'm not cramping up. Very, very delicate and light. And all this does is get out any of those rogue scratches and further smooth everything out. And you can go around your cuticle area one more time to make sure there's no crunchy pieces hiding, because sometimes you can file and you'll cause a little bit of lifting. So now I'm going to go in with my reds buffer and just buff these nails, which I don't really have to, like I said, but look how much smoother it made it. And so when I apply my bling, I'm not going to apply it across this line because I made it super straight, so that would ruin it. But like if I know I'm going to add bling to the line, then it could be like a tad bit crooked because you're just following the line, right? Like your line of bling, so you'll be okay. But because it's going to be straight, I have to keep it straight. Oops. So now everything is all smooth, and you can see that there's dust in here and on the outside. So what you're going to do is with your manicure brush, dust off as much as you can, right? Underneath the nail, everything, all of it. But as you can tell, the problem with this is it's too like big for some of these areas, right? And there's stuck on stuff over here. So you can either dip your brush like this, press it, dunk it, do like that, or get your lint-free wipe and just wipe it off. And make sure everything underneath and on top. And this will also show you what it will kind of look like top coated with that. I might do these matte. I don't know. My sister might get mad at me though. I love matte nails. I also like shiny nails, but Some people just hate matte nails, period. What?
You have to do it shiny to make it pop.
She says you have to do it shiny to make it pop. But I don't think so. I think it looks more crisp matte. So I'm actually gonna stuff because of the dust, and I'm gonna take this all around my desk and drag it. So that is gonna come off. And like this file, I'm about to file the tip of the nail, which I like to do after I buff now, which might be weird to some people, but that's just the way I like doing it. Because I'm not, and it's not like a ton of dust comes off when you file just the tip. So like just like this, I say that as my file starts to leak. Even pressure all the way across the top, rocking it back and forth. So like this. And any dust to clean up like this. You can't hear the music, can you? Told you.
Who's the music for? Them or you?
Me. Dust it off one more good time just to make sure everything's off. Wipe this up real quick with this alcohol because it just gets all the little tiny pieces up. And now it is time for the bling. So I'm thinking about doing some Cuticle Bling because it's an ombre. Like you don't go all out on an ombre, but this one, typically when the line's not straight, I just go ahead and put a line of bling all the way across. And then I put one stone at the cuticle. So I'll do a design on this one, but I don't really do designs. So the sizes I like to use for doing, I like to do for doing like cuticle bling is this one in the middle, these on the outsides, and then these on the outsides of those. So it naturally is like a gradient. So I'm gonna put these on the table. My sister is bringing me some stuff so I can get this out easy. Ooh, that was too much. And then I'm gonna do this to the other side. I hate it when it comes in these like little packs. Thanks, friends. So I'm going to be careful with this one. And part of the reason why I don't like it in these packs is because it sticks to it. it sticks to the what's that called? The plastic when I'm trying to get it out. Alright, that's too much also. Oops. Is there a hard one? No, okay. And then I'm going to cut this with my stork scissor so I can get to the next size so it can fade better. I just hate opening these because like I wish I had somewhere else to put the bling, but I don't have a container for it. Ooh, I can't open it. Sorry, she's being a little loud. So I'm probably going to end up just mixing all these together, honestly. But I hate doing that. I prefer separate bling. So I'm just going to mix it for now. Because you can tell the difference between the sizes once you pick them up. And don't spray the hurry up spray until you're 100% done, or your glue's going to start drying up. And by the way, here's a little tip. If you, because you know when you sharpen the pencil or you get glue on it, so sharpen it, or you can run it on your file like this. That'll get the wax off. Not the wax off, the glue on the wax off, but don't file it too much or you're going to remove too much. And squash it like this, like push, and it'll like balloon it out and make it flat, and it makes it so much easier to pick up the bling rather than like a sharp point. So like I said, one big one in the middle. There's no glue on it, so it's not going to stick. You can also plan out your designs before you do them. That helps too if you want something intricate, but I'm just going for Cuticle Bling. Now, because like I said, this glue dries fast, or on the faster side. So that's also why I squished it like that, and make sure your thing doesn't touch it, because this glue, once it's on there, it's on there. Was that the biggest one I can use? Yeah, that's the biggest one I can use. And so now I'm going to get two small ones. Smaller ones, I should say. All right, I have two small ones next to each other. So I'm going to add glue on this side, glue on this side. Drop it off. And I'm going to do the other side. Drop it off. And I'm going to push it towards the center with the end of the brush, with the back of the pencil. Ooh. So that's on there. So I have to nip it off now. You see what I'm saying when it moves fast? Dry toss. And so now I have to nip that one off, but it came off intact actually. So I'm going to remove that. There we go. remove that. It's okay if you have to nip something off. Then I'm going to do like this. And in real life, this is shining. She is very blingy. And then I'm going to do, push this closer. Ooh, it's like, I'm gonna wipe this off actually. You see, it looks wonky. But I can push that back better. I'm gonna add some more glue. And I'm gonna put, take the small ones out. I should have taken the small ones out. I think I did. What time is it?
6:39. My video came out. Like you watch it. But I watched yours the same day it came out.
Period. 6:39. 6:49. RuPaul's Drag Race comes on at 7. So as
You
soon
want
as
to watch it live?
Yerp, as soon as it ends, she's getting clicked on. I mean, as soon as I'm done with this. I love RuPaul's Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race. And that is how you correct a mistake. This one, I don't think it's the biggest size. Let's see. Or no, I think this one's the biggest. No, they're the same size. Okay, good. And look at this. Like, it just flowed very naturally. Looks very pretty. And for this one, same thing pretty much. I really like the way that this is, oops, it flipped. This is turning out. Uh-oh. There we go. I have glue on my desk. It'll be just gonna come off. Next side's over. You have to be careful when you're using like a little puddle of glue because that glue could be setting up and you don't know it, and then you just put something on there. But also, the thinner you work with the glue, the faster it'll dry. So if you work very thin with this glue, it'll dry very quickly. And I'm looking for another small one. There. Always try and get it symmetrical. And then I think I'm gonna put this tiny baby one on top. Right here. And they're two different designs. So these are two down. So it's one in the middle, two below it, and then above it. So this is in the middle. These are on the sides. So they go below it, and then this goes up here. So it does like a kind of W type shape. And then this is just around the cuticle, fades out. So big, medium, smaller, and then extra small. That's one way to do it. I'm about to click on my lamp real quick. So if something changes, that's why. I mean, click on my powder. So.
It did. It did.
Now that's on. I'm gonna spray it with the hurry up spray, which probably doesn't need, but I'm very. Oh my gosh, she wants me to do her nails. She wants bling on there, like I told her. I told you that bling was cute, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't believe me.
I just want one on each nail and then the thing on this one.
And then the what?
I'll tell you after the live.
So I'm gonna go over here, and so you can see me spraying, spraying. And also, this practice is very good with the bling because I'm not a bling person. So I'm gonna go back in with my alcohol wipe because now there's residue. Wipe this all the way off. Boom. Now I can go ahead and top coat. Matte or glossy is the question. I want matte personally.
Say for it, Matt and G.
There's only one person watching. Is my sound on? Okay, yes. I believe I'm going to go with matte because I'm feeling it.
I say glossy.
It'll look glossy before it's matte. How about that? And when you're doing this with any top coat, matte, glossy, make sure you go around the stones. So I'm going to go right here. And wipe it down. And also when you do matte, it hides more imperfections, but it also, to me, it makes it like a more graphic look. Because when it's shiny, those glare lines bounce off of everywhere. And like I worked very hard on this straight line and on this ombre. So I'm going to go like this around the bling, not on it. If you touch the bling with the matte top coat, it looks frosted on the outside, which is a look if you want it to be a look, but I don't want it to be. This is one of my best ombres, but it's also because of the color too. So, like how opaque it is, because that pink is no joke. I'm just gonna stroke it down. When I do this, it's just blending. And so then you want to cure this for 90 to 120 seconds. So 90 seconds, you can just put the low heat mode on. 120, you can click 60 seconds twice. That's a quick way to remember it. Wipe the sides off so you don't get any what is that called? Any you don't add bulk to your nail because you want your nail to continue to look the way that it is. And so that's why I wipe my sides, but I'm obviously there's still product on there. It just takes off the excess gel. And then I'm going to cure this for 120 seconds, add some cuticle oil, and that'll be it. And again, the top coat that I'm using is the Beetles top coat. It's the matte top gel, and beautiful. My favorite, best matte top coat I've ever used. It just works so well, way too well in my opinion. And it's so affordable, and you can get it on Amazon, and if you have Prime 2-day shipping, and it was like $5. Come on, there is no tacky layer. It's just amazing. It's literally, and it doesn't even have a satin matte. It has a true matte. it's very rare to like at this price to not get one that has a inhibition layer or a tacky layer that has a complete matte, not a satin matte. Like it doesn't look like you just put top coat on a nail that just came out the lamp. Like it doesn't look like that. It looks purely matte, and you can see it change in the lamp too. You can see it go from glossy to matte. It's the best, the best. The Beatles really did it with that top coat, like both top coats, because you know their glossy one is glossy. Show them your nails. Show them your nails. Show them how they shine. Show them. Show them. They're still shiny. Her bling is still on. You see her nails are starting to grow out. When did I do these?
Like 5 days ago or something.
Yep. She's starting to grow out, which is good for her nails. Just like that. 120 seconds done. Now I'm going to be going in with my Blossom Cuticle Oil, and y'all, look at this reveal. Ooh, it looks so good. And when you do matte nails, it makes the ombre fade just so much better. And like, look how crisp this line is. It makes it look even better. And I'm not adding cuticle oil like right away because it might mess it up. But like literally, even on these, you need, because look, it was ashy before. Now look at it. And the oil does like actually absorb into the plastic, kind of, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like a regular finger, and then you just massage it, just like this. Brush it all the way around with your finger, like you would do a regular person. Take it all the way to the sides, all the way around, everywhere that nail is. Do not touch the nail, because it is a matte nail. And if you make it glossy, you'll be so upset with yourself. And look at this. And I wore my nails matte for a while with this matte top coat. Gorgeous. And the matte, if there was any imperfections, it helps hide a little bit. The glossy, it hides it, but it brings it out too. Because that glare, she hides it, but if it's not in a glare, it's out. So look at that line. Look how crisp it look. And like these don't even look encapsulated. So yes, thanks for watching. Everything I use will be linked down below in the description later on, because I'm about to watch RuPaul's Drag Race. So after Drag Race is done, I will put everything in the description. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell so you get notified every time I upload. Comment down below something that you liked or you learned, or that if I should do more lives, or what I should do for my next live. And yeah, have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.